Very good morning, students. Last class we discussed what is meant by reproduction, what are the types of reproduction, and a typical flower or the parts of a typical flower, doesn't it? So today's class we discussed pollination. So already we know that what is meant by pollinations. Before that, what are the events involved in the pollinations are parts of a flower. The first event already you know that first event is pollination and the second event is the fertilization. So first we can see the pollination. Okay, what is meant by pollination? You know how the plants reproduce the young ones. You know the answer? Okay. Pollination means already we see in the last class. What is meant by pollination? The transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the flower. It is known as pollination, isn't it? Then the types of pollinations. There are two types of pollination. What are they? One is self-pollination and another one is the cross-pollination. So self-pollination, what is meant by self? Automatically done. That is known as self-pollination. So already you know that what is meant by pollination, the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the flower. That is known as pollination. Self-pollination means the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the flower in same plant. Very important word. In same plant, in same species. That is known as self-pollination. For example, so here the pollen grains are present. So the transfer of pollen grain anther to the stigma of the flower in same plant in same species, that is known as self-pollination. Can you understand? Then cross-pollinations. The cross means one to another. That is keeping in our mind. Here one plants. So we have one plant and another one plant is there. So cross means the transfer of pollen grains. Here one flower is there. Here the pollen grains. The transfer of pollen grains from one plant to another plants of the stigma. The transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the flower in same species, same plant but different flower. One place to another place. That is said to be a cross pollination. Okay. Can you understand the difference between self pollination and cross pollination? Okay. Next we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of self pollination and cross pollination. So first we will see the self-pollination. What are the advantages of self-pollination? First one, the bisexual flower. So bisexual means the male flower and the female flower is present in the same plant. So that is known as bisexual flower. Then next one is this is depend on the agent of pollination. What is meant by agent of pollination? Some examples for agent: some birds, insects, or animals to carry them pollen grain from one place to another. So it is depend on the agent of pollination. Then the pollen grains are no wastage of pollen grains. Here there is no wastage of pollen grains. So these are the advantages of self-pollination. Then disadvantages of self-pollination. So what are the disadvantages? First one is the seeds are less in number. Very less seeds are produced. So seeds are less in number, and the same species produce another plant, isn't it? So the weaker plants are produced. Very weak plants only produced. Then the self-pollination takes place among the species. So there is no variety of plants can be produced. No variety of plants can be produced. So these are the disadvantages of self-pollination. Then cross-pollination. First one is the advantages of the cross-pollination. So first one is here the new varieties of plants can be produced. New varieties of plants can be produced, and the more viable seeds, because the cross one species. So species means this is different from same species, but the variety will be changed. So here the variety of plants will be produced. This is one of the advantages. Then here there is no viable seeds. Very weak plants are produced, but here the viable seeds are produced. Then disadvantages of cross pollination. What are the disadvantages? So first one is the seeds transfer from one place to another plant by the agent. Okay? Here there is no agent for pollination, but here they need the agent for pollination, and here there is no wastage of pollen grains, but here it will be transferred. Very long distance means it can the pollen grains are wasted. So there is a lot of wastage of pollen grains. Then maybe here the self-pollination means the pollination maybe occurs, may not, maybe, definitely it will be occurs. But cross-pollination sometimes fail to transfer the pollen grains to the stigma of the flower. So it may be failed in the cross-pollination. Okay, can you understand these two difference between self-pollination and the cross-pollination? The next we will see the agent for pollination. So pollination takes place by one place to another, means it will be carried out by one agent. That may be an organism or insects or any other organisms. Okay, based on this is classified into agent for pollination. So they are classifying the first one is the anemophily. What do you mean by anemophily? Anemo means wind. So the pollination takes place by wind. The pollination takes place by wind means that is known as anemophily. Next one, the ornithophily. Ornitho means birds. So the pollination takes place by birds means that is known as ornithophily. Then hydrophily. Hydrophily. So hydro means water. So the pollination takes place by the water means that is known as hydrophily. Then zoophily. So the pollination takes place by zoo means animal. The pollination takes place by animal means that is known as zoophily. Then entomophily. The pollination takes place by entomo means insects. So the pollination takes place by the insects means that is known as entomophily. So these are the agent for pollination. For example, anemophily is this is pollinated by wind. For example, maize. Then ornithophily. Ornithophily birds, it will be eat some seeds from other plants that will be transferred or sent out by the fetus. The seeds germinate in a new organisms. Then hydrophily means the hydro. For example, water. So water, for example, coconut. The coconut is along with the water. Then in a particular place in favorable conditions, that is grown into a new organisms. Then zoophily. The sanguine is attached to the animal body walls, that is fell into the substratum and form a new organisms in favorable conditions. Then entomophily. Entomophily is the 80% of the pollination. Here the 80% of the pollination takes place by the insects, that is known as entomophily. Okay, next we will see the structure of the pollen grains. So it has two layers, the outer layer and the inner layer. So outer layer has very thick. Outer layer has very thick region and the inner region. So the inner region has very thin. So the outer layer is known as exine and the inner layer is very thin, that is known as intine. Then inside the pollen grains there is a gelatinous substance that is known as cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm contains the two type of nucleus. One is generating nucleus, vegetative nucleus. So first one is generating nucleus. This is generating nucleus, sorry, vegetative nucleus. And this is known as generating nucleus. So the vegetative nucleus is a large nucleus that is inside the cytoplasms. This is a large size nucleus. Vegetative nucleus has large size and it divides mitotically. It will form a two gametes. The male gametes formed at the result of this vegetative nucleus, and generating cells is what is called is disintegrated from the pollen grains. So the vegetative cells only for the pollination, used for the pollination. So this is the structure of pollen grains. Then next is the fertilization in plants. So what is meant by fertilization? The fusion of the male and female gamete by the process of fertilization. So that process known as fertilization. Here, so this is the structure of the what is called the gynoecium. So this part is gynoecium. Totally it is called gynoecium. So here the pollen grains attached in the stigma of the flower, attached on stigma of the flower. Then it is moved into the pollen tube of the gynoecium. So pollen tube, the side of the gynoecium. This is the pollen tube. Move towards or backwards to the pollen tube, and when it will reach the ovule, when this is the ovule, when it will reach the ovule, here the cells, already I told you, the vegetative cells only used for the pollination. So here the vegetative cells produce two gametes. When the pollen grains reaches the ovule, it is divided into two gametes. So then the degenerative the vegetative cells. Here the degenerative the vegetative cells, and the only the gametes enter into the ovules. Here the fertilization occurs. Based on this, already we know that only what is fertilization? Only one sperm or the pollen grains attached to the stigma of the flower, or the male and female gamete to form a zygote, that is known as fertilization. Here the other sperm, one sperm is here, two sperms are produced, two male gametes are produced. One is attached to the ovule, that is known as fertilization. Suppose the other gamete is formed in the zygote, or the one male gamete uses the ovule, that is known as the primary nucleus. Primary nucleus. So this primary nucleus contains two gametes. So the another one gamete fuses with the primary nucleus. So this is known as a double fertilization. That is 2n. Then the secondary nucleus fuses with another one gamete, that is known as here 2n plus here the n number of chromosomes. So fuses with the 3n. So this is known as triple fertilization. Then after the fertilizations, the primary endosperm are formed. Here after the fertilization, it is look like a heart. So this is known as the endosperm. So this endosperm is used for the nourishment of the development of the embryo. It will provide the nourishment of the development of the embryo. Then later the synergic and antipodal cells. Inner side the synergics. So this is the 6 here, anterior and posterior. So these both are called synergic. So synergics and the antipodal cell. Cells will be disintegrates. So this is the process of fertilization in plants. Then the significance of fertilization. So first one is it stimulates the ovary to develop into the fruit. After the fertilization, the ovary develop into a fruit. Then the development of a new character. It may be a variety of character. But after the fertilization, what is called a new variety of plant may be produced. So these are the significance of the fertilization. Then post fertilization. After the fertilization, post fertilization, and the ovule develop into a seed. This ovule develop into a seed, and the indentments, the whole part of the indentments develop into a seed coat. Then the ovary, inner part of the ovary develop into a fruit. Under the favorable conditions, the seed develop into a new plant. Okay, so this is the process of fertilization. That's all. Thank you, students.